Samaran, guys. I don't know if you guys have seen. There's a video that was sent to me. It's like 7 minute long. I think it's one of those shows, Go Mzansi Magic. I'm not too affair with those type of shows. But it's a show. It was trending on TikTok, and it's a lady who's 42 years old, and she's dating a 19-year-old guy. And obviously I'm trying to read certain comments, trying to understand, people ask, hey, person, can you do a video on this thing? It's a trend that I've seen. Like I think it's becoming more and more public. Coming from more yaziwa, that whole thing of younger guys dating older women. People call them open and whatever the case may be. And unfortunately, it's not still as accepted as older guys dating younger women. I think that tends to be more acceptable and people tend to understand that slightly better. Even though, to be fully honest, guys, must be funny. So like a 42-year-old man dating a 19-year-old girl, generally in today's time, that will still get heavily judged. They'd say, how babuna 42, ingane 19, that seems wrong. So I can just imagine a lot of people's personal views when they saw a 42-year-old lady with 3 kids, with a job, dating a guy who's 19, still stays at home with his mom, in a relationship, And I'm watching this video. For those that don't know, I'm just going to try and explain the video. So again, 42-year-old lady, she's got 3 kids. 19-year-old guy, he's not studying. He'd like to study. He stays at home with his mom. In the video, he explains, Uguti, this lady who's 42 is even older than his actual mother. They speak about loving each other and caring for each other and etc. etc. Part of the video where he speaks about wanting to introduce her to his family, and the nerves around that and the challenges that he's foreseeing in that. And the lady saying, maybe it's your dad, you're scared of your dad. She's like, hey, actually, it's more my mother who might have a problem because, again, you are older than my mother. He also speaks to things like that in his plan, in his 5-year plan, he'd like to marry her and he'd like to have kids, of which she was like, look, fam, I'm not opposed to you having kids. Maybe you can find another lady to have kids with, but, obviously, I understand a 47-year-old, the chances of her falling pregnant is 0 to nothing. With that being said, whatever health complications. So like, it was interesting watching it and learning those dynamics and trying to unpack it, from a psychological level, because there's been this whole shift that we've seen in the form of parenting. Many of us grew up with single mothers. Our fathers non-existent. We never really had any strong male figures in our lives, and that also left scarring. We quick to judge our sisters who are in their early 20s dating guys in their 40s, saying, this person's got daddy issues, this person's got daddy issues, but we never really unpack as men, as young men, our daddy issues, or rather even our mummy issues. For us, we tend to just, ignore that, or maybe this young guy is chasing an older lady on a mali because this older lady buys him this and buys him that. And we just simplify it purely to that. With Ben young guy chasing a lady with a little bit more money than he does, or an older lady chasing a young guy to manipulate and play with. But we don't break into the psychological effects of that, and that's what I'm trying to understand or unpack. And again, this is just my view of it, guys. I'm not saying this is exactly it or it's cast in stone. This is what I'm seeing. So also take what I'm saying as Penson's opinion. Let me maybe speak about Penson. So me now, growing up, single mother, you guys know the sad story of violence. With that being said, my mother had to take the role of the masculine in the sense of provision and protection. So my mother used to leave for work very, very early. She used to leave earlier than us, and going to school. So she used to leave early and she'd come back late. And this used to happen from a very, very young age. So at age 5, whenever you go to grade R or whatever, I used to cycle to school with my brother, whatever, and I used to walk back and he used to finish school later. So I used to get home earlier and I'd make myself until later when my mother would come back. So this is something that happened from when I was very, very young until nothing like school. And so you need to understand, Uguti, when that happens, when your mother is not there as a feminine nurturing role and your father's not there as the provider and the protector, you get to or you start yearning for certain things, So I started yearning for a nurturer in my life. I started yearning for this and this and this that I didn't get in my life, So one or two things that I've seen happen, it's either you become Mr. or Miss Independent and you're like, I don't need anyone, I'm self-reliant, or you go out there seeking that. A lot of sisters went out there seeking for a father. And in many cases, like this video, this guy is going out there seeking for a mother. It's a crazy thing because you are seeking for a nurturer. You're seeking for someone to love you, seeking for someone who's kind, seeking for someone who can mentor you and help you get across to your goals because you might feel stuck. So I see a lot of younger guys in their earlier 20s dating a lot of older sisters, not necessarily because he's chasing her money or whatever, but again, he's looking for someone to nurture him, for someone to be kind and to fulfill certain aspects of a mother role that he might not have had because mama's out there hustling. Mama's out there busy working. Mama's out there trying to put some food on the table, and he missed out on that. Not because mom was this bad person. No, because mama had to be mom and dad. So she was out there working, and when you are now here yearning for this, So it's very much those type of dynamics. Whenever you see a lot of these younger guys that are dating a lot of older women, you look at their personality types. I'm not talking about the fuckboys that are chasing older women for their money. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about guys who they really care for these ladies. They really care. When you unpack the type of personality that guy is, he's normally a guy who's compassionate, he's kind, he's a guy who is stuck in his life. It's a guy who has no sense of direction, doesn't know where his next step will be, and finds this lady who is an older lady to guide and mentor him and assist him. Maybe she's paying for his studies. Maybe she is helping him put together a CV. Maybe she is, whatever the case may be, helping him learn how to drive, you see that and you're like, oh, okay, this guy's yearning for that. And on the flip side, you look at these older ladies and you're like, I wonder why these older ladies are going after these younger guys. Are they like, not untanga, what's happening? And you try and unpack it again and you're like, this sister's 35 and she's dating a 25-year-old guy. And when again, I want to be very, very clear in this. I'm not saying a 25-year-old guy who is as mature as a 35-year-old and the stage in his life is of a 35. No, a 25-year-old guy who's in the 25-year-old stage seeking for 25-year-old things. And a 35-year-old lady who's in that stage seeking for those things. And again, you ask yourself, what is happening? So I know a lot of ladies who have dated and are in relationships with a lot of guys who are significantly younger. And I know a lot of younger guys who will chat to me and they say, I'm dating a lady who's 8 years, 10 years older than me. When I talk to these sisters, you realize, Uguti, these sisters have been through hell and back. These sisters have been really hurt by a machita, whether it is having a controlling, abusive boyfriend, husband. They've dated guys of the stage that they are in, guys that are older than them, guys who are financially stronger, and they've realized within those relationships, they have been abused, they have been cheated on, they've been hurt, they've had deadbeat dads, they've had all the trauma that comes with the negativity of a guy who is more powerful than you. So again, not every guy who's more powerful than you or is in a better stage is disgusting, but we do possess traits that can be. We do possess traits where we can be controlling, where we can be manipulative, where we can be all those toxic things that really do hurt our sisters. So you unpack and you're like, so you're 35. And she's like, yeah, I'm divorced. I've got 2 kids. Guy's a deadbeat, is not contributing, or the guy's this, guy was abusive. You look at that and you're like, oh shit, I hear your pain, and in all of that, guess what? She now yearns for a companion. She yearns for someone who's kind and compassionate, someone who's attentive to her needs, because she never had that. She never had that at all. So she's career driven. She has her own money. She has her own place. She has her own car. She has her own everything. She's got kids. She's got that. And you're like, so why aren't you dating guys your age? And she's like, look, from my experiences, the guys that are in my space, they tend to be controlling. They tend to be this. I've tried it 1,000 times. I've been hurt 1,000 times. And now that I'm dating this guy who's 22, he's kind, he's nurturing, he's attentive. It's like having a little puppy, that gets excited. When I walk in, he's excited. Oh my God, da, 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 da. When I say I'm coming to pick you up, taking you over to my place, he gets excited like a weekend getaway. With my husband, I used to make him oxtail and he used to complain that it doesn't taste like this, or it wasn't this, or it doesn't serve in a tray. For this guy, I literally just make him some noodles and he does backflips. He's beyond excited. His level of appreciation, much like us as older guys, when you've been in a relationship with your wife, whatever, for years, you realize the challenges of life pile up. So when you come home and you've bought her flowers, the appreciation of those flowers at age 35 is not the same as when she was 22. I don't know if you guys understand. Things that you do for her now because of life is not the same as when she was younger, and vice versa. It takes a lot, to be fully honest with you guys. I'm 36 this year. It takes a lot to truly impress me and for me to get excited. But again, if I go back 15 years, when I was 21, like literally, a lady just looked at me and smiled, type of thing. So those things do play, and again, at 36 in a relationship, I don't, I'm not this cut. I am very, very firm. I draw a line in the sand. This is right, this is wrong. I don't compromise. I don't meet you halfway. That's my stance now. But again, when I was 22, 23, I lived on compromise. I lived on trying to understand. I lived on being kind and listening more attentively than what I try and do today. So I hear a lot of these sisters and I say, shit, guys, is it that bad where your age mates, amachita, that are your age mates, are not as caring, are not as compassionate, are not as attentive to your needs? Because again, we just trying to, no, jolly ganji, sense ganji, and we look around in the community, you see 35-year-old ladies, and again, I'm just talking about a few. This is not a norm at all. It's a few people. You see these 35-year-old ladies who are dating 24-year-old guys, 25-year-old guys. And you're like, I wonder where this will last. Because the reality is that it will become short-lived, unfortunately, because there'll come a point where she acclimatizes again, and then she'll need to go into another step or another stage where he might not be able to assist, and then she'll then peel out. Or he will then want to now start his own family, etc., etc. And then he'll say, look, she's 38, she's got 2 kids, she's not interested in this, she's career focused. Let me actually start building myself and have my own kids. So it does normally end in tears, whether it is the guy in this case who's crying or the lady who just, but it doesn't tend to last too long. Those relationships that do last long are an anomaly. And the same on the guy's side, guys. If we're fully honest, when we find out which a guy is dating a lady who happens to be 10, 15 years younger than her, many of the times it does end in tears. Many of the times it does end in tears. A guy might be 39, 40. He might not want to have kids. We might have had kids and has a lot of baby mama drama. She's 22. She wants to party. She still wants to have fun. He might be in a different stage of his life. So after a while, tends to be a clash. But I just wanted to do this video where we can try and unpack and understand where this comes from. So instead of just judging, she's taking advantage of little kids, yes, there are those people. Fully understand. There are those people that are just there to take. There are these young guys that are trying to just milk older sisters for their cash or for their bodies, or use them as immortal driving school. There is that, and there are older sisters who just want to take advantage of young boys, and vice versa. There are young ladies who just want to milk older guys for cash, and there are older guys that just want to milk the younger girls for their youth and their bodies. We get that. But in this case, I was just talking about sincere relationships between older women and younger men, older men and younger women. That does happen. Let's try and unpack. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I might have missed a lot. I might also learn. Maybe you're in a relationship where you are dating a person who's significantly older than you, 2 years or 3 years, significantly older than you, not just in age, but in stage of life. The stage that you guys are in, it's 2 different worlds. So just let me know what you guys think. If you disagree. Let's try and be as respectful as possible. Please share this video far and wide so we can start having these conversations and we can all learn and grow together. Please like, share, hit that subscription button if you're not yet subscribed. Hit the notification bell and have yourselves a fantastic day. And guys.